I'm Patrick Pacheco. Coming up on Theater All the Moving Parts, a conversation with Broadway power couple, super publicist Adrienne Bryan Brown and theatrical photographer Joan Marcus. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Theater All the Moving Parts. I'm your host, Patrick Pacheco, directing the spotlight to those who help create the worlds of wonder we call the theater. Today's guests are Adrienne Bryan Brown and Joan Marcus, a long-married Broadway power couple. Adrienne is a publicist who, with his business partner, Chris Bono, runs a press office responsible for over 400 award-winning productions. Joan has photographed hundreds of plays and musicals. And they share the distinction of being the first couple to be awarded individual Tony honors for their contributions. Welcome, Adrienne and Joni, to All the Moving Parts. And boy, you got a lot of them. Paul Rudnick's I Hate Hamlet, 1991. Let's start there. You were married in that year.
We were married in that year.
You were married in that year. You formed your company with Chris Bono that year.
Right.
And you were in the midst of a troubled production. And you were both working on it, probably working together for the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
How did that production distill what it is you're called upon to do?
Oh, in so many ways. Should I tell the wedding story, or would you like to tell the wedding story?
I'll tell the wedding story.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Okay, so we were getting married, okay? And it was like a weekend. It was a very small wedding at our house.
In Washington.
In Washington, D.C., where I was living. And so it was in our house. And it was like around 6 o'clock and everything. And two things happened, okay? In the middle of the ceremony, it was answering machines, and we forgot to turn it off. So we got a phone call that announced that something bad had happened with one of Adrienne's clients in another show, which was Secret Garden. Okay. So
We'll get to that in a minute.
That was over, and then we leave and we go home, go out to dinner, and we come back, and there's a message that Nicole Williamson has whacked Evan
Handler.
Evan Handler, okay, in the butt with a sword at the end of Act One, and he didn't want to come. He didn't come back, and that was like the day we got married. Okay.
Now, what was really fun about this is Cindy Adams happened to be in the audience that night. So the reporter, the columnist for the Post, was in the audience, and so she ran a fantastic front page cover, I Hit Hamlet, with one of Joan's amazing photographs of the two of them dueling. The Daily News also picked up on the story, so it made the cover of both tabloids.
Yes.
And how did you do the damage control?
You can't.
You can't.
There's
But at that
nothing
point,
to
you
do.
just throw your hands up?
And also that there's a responsibility too. I mean, Nicole Williams did attack an actor on stage, which is one of the lowest things you can actually do to another performer. I mean, it's terrible. And so, you know, there was...
Equity
we
charges?
thought all sorts of stuff went on, and Evan never came back to the show, and so it was horrible. But what was fascinating to me is it didn't sell a ticket.
Yeah.
It made a lot of ink, and it was great chatter, and everyone thought it was really fun. But it was a great lesson in not all publicity is good publicity.
That's a good point.
When bad things happen, it can be fun, but it didn't make people then suddenly say, I must go see this show.
Backing up a little bit, Adrienne, you grew up between New York and London. Your father's a doctor. And was there a seminal production that you saw that made you think, I want to do this?
It's funny. I was really a spoiled brat in that I had a grandmother in London who took me to see everything, literally everything in the West End. So I was really overexposed to the great knights like Olivier and that sort of stuff, which was extraordinary.
And Nicole Williamson.
Yeah, and Nicole Williamson, thank you. And then I had a mother who was a big theatre geek who took me to Chorus Line the week it opened. And so I was lucky that I had a sort of family that really supported an interest. But truth be told, I was actually a movie freak. I loved movies, but just being in New York, theatre, you had to do it. And my love of theatre came a little later. But
With any particular production?
I think Chorus Line was pretty seminal
Chorus
for,
Line.
for actually sort of changing my thought of what it was. You know.
And Joni, you were the resident photographer at the Kennedy
Kennedy
Center. Was there any particular production that led you to do show photography as opposed to some other kind of photography?
I did show photography mainly because I got this job. It became clear. I mean, I just loved doing it. I mean, I set out to. I didn't know what I was going to do, but then when I decided to be a photographer, I wanted to be an editorial photographer, kind of like do editorial portraits and do that. And I did do some of that. But I got this job at the Kennedy Center, first printing for the photographer there. And that's kind of when I realized this is something that I wanted to do. And then I ended up kind of getting work with all this other small theaters. It kind of just felt like it was the right thing to do, although I never set out initially to do that, and then I pursued it, but probably not a seminal production.
No.
I mean, my seminal production is going to age me terribly, but it was when I was a little girl and my first trip to New York. We saw Funny Girl.
You both define yourselves as storytellers. You tell the story of the story. How do you capture the essence of a show like, say, Moulin Rouge in publicity, in promotion?
Right. I think when you're dealing with, and I'm going to insult it a little bit, a brand, I think there's an awareness out there of what it is already. And our job is to educate the journalist first and social media, who are then going to educate the public in that there's more to it than just that movie you liked or didn't like currently appearing on stage. So what I find fascinating and most enjoyable about what I do is finding those stories. Justin Levine, no one knows who he is, he's the orchestrator. He's the guy who managed to weave those 70 tunes in the show into a story.
Yeah.
And his background, his facility, if you see him sit at a piano and he can make one song completely merge to another song just extemporaneously. This is a fascinating story, and so getting him out there and telling that story, that to me is interesting. And what you're doing is you're making something that people may have heard is sort of hot more interesting. It's a reason for going to see it. So there are, for every show, even if it's I don't know, just like a two-hander play on a bare set, there's going to be backstories. And I feel my job is to, yes, let people know that this is the big splashy thing, but also what are those other intriguing angles? Because that will give longevity. That will keep the story going.
It sounds incredibly detailed as opposed to just selling it to Times or whatever else.
That's right. Yeah.
Joni, how do you tell stories in terms of your photography, say, with the ferryman? When you were photographing the ferryman, you have to capture both a moment and freeze a moment, but do you also see it in the overall arc of the entire show?
I'm a documentarian. The thing I do best is document a production. I can tell a story too with an image, but you want to tell the story. So you want to tell the story about the relationships. So it's things like side glances. And you kind of want to have the opportunity to look for that. And The Ferryman was beautiful in that moved fast enough and slow enough, so that you were able to see the relationships and see how they played out on stage.
What about the goose and the rabbits?
Oh, I love the goose and the rabbit.
Did you find that the goose was a big moment in
the
the
goose
show?
It was a huge moment. I mean, because everybody loves when the goose comes out and when the bunnies came out of their pockets and, and stuff like that. And, they were pretty well behaved. Peggy talked a little bit, the goose, sometimes was a talker. But, it was,
And how is it photographing children? There were lots of them, and even a baby.
Oh, they're actors. I mean, so it's no different than anybody else. I mean, they're actors, and they know where they're going to be and what they're doing.
You're both hired by producers. How does a producer help you do your best work? Or perhaps you deal with a publicist. But how do you do your best work, and what does the producer give you to do that?
We're kind of the consigliere. We are advising them on the environment, the strengths of their show, the weaknesses of their show. And so the really exciting producers are the ones who are, make you crazy with endless ideas, but also have a sense of where they fit within the bigger picture of not just Broadway, but all entertainment. And how can you make that niche as big as it can be? which is not to say that you need to be like, oh, playing it down. It is playing it up, but it's a realism. You want to have the dream, but you also want to have someone who's realistic about where that dream can work.
Oh.
And so I think I've been very lucky. I mean, with the Dodgers, with Judy Kramer, with
Judy Kramer on Mamma Mia, of course.
Yeah.
The Dodgers with Titanic, Jersey Boys, Summer, and Bronx Tale.
Yeah, and I think what they have is they are, like all of us, I think, very passionate about it, but they have a sense of pragmatism too. Say, okay, this is when we should strike. This is when we should do things. This is when, and it's they never flail. They get frustrated, but they are very focused on what their show is and how they want to present it.
Does Michael David and the Dodgers understand just how unquantifiable your work is?
I think so. I think producers recognize that, it's very straightforward. If you see a piece on 60 Minutes, you go, oh, brilliant. But that was a whole confluence of things happening. It was the right story at the right time. Yes, presented to a press agent or to a producer at 60 Minutes in the right way.
Right.
But it's not. What's exciting and challenging is no two shows are alike and no two campaigns are alike.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. It's becoming more quantifiable though, because we're now assigning values, and this comes from marketing and online, where you can actually measure and how many people are responding to something and therefore buying tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it is pretty unquantifiable. So.
Joni, how do the people that hire you, how do they help you do your best work?
I guess they understand, the importance of photos. The ideal scenario is to photograph something maybe once or twice and then do some setups with it. But given the nature of productions and times and schedules, that doesn't always work. So the ideal scenario is kind of a pipe dream for a lot of things, because reality intersects a lot of the times, and it just doesn't work out that way.
I think what's particularly challenging is when you come in, not all the elements may be there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that you're having to shoot around that.
Right.
And you're not shooting chronologically.
And you're compromised in a lot of ways.
Well, generally speaking, I mean, like lighting will evolve, like over the preview period. I mean, that's, what it's for. It's like to paint, to make, and so it'll look better, on opening night or even a week in than it did. Most often that's the case, than it did on the final dress rehearsal. And costumes change and blocking changes. Mm-hmm. Things are dropped. So you're coming in also at a very vulnerable time for everybody, because, until the photographer comes in, or when the photographer comes in, it's almost like this is going to be open to the public tomorrow.
You brought up a very good point, which is people are very vulnerable, and you both deal with temperament in terms of the theater. Yeah. And in terms of, is photo approval a clause that is the bane of your existence? That you're dealing with stars that have photo approval, and do you worry that you're going to get back the contact sheet and everything's going to be
Absolutely.
How do you deal with that? Can you tell us a little bit of stories about actors that you've worked with that have been difficult?
You've got to have a thick skin, because like half the time my favorite pictures never see the light of day, and it's all on how people see themselves.
Were the Stritches of the world and the Lauren Bacall's difficult to deal with?
I never worked with Lauren Bacall, but Elaine Stritch, she approved. It wasn't the approval process with her that was difficult. It was like, what day are we going to take the photos? So it was like I did a delicate balance, and we went into this like not knowing when the photo call was going to be, and so every night, it would be, okay, is it going to be tomorrow? I'd get these calls, not tomorrow. And then finally, one Saturday night, I got a call. It's going to be 9:30 on a Sunday morning, which God knows how expensive that was. And that's when we did the photo.
To call the crew and...
Yeah, and that's because that's when she wanted to do the picture.
Well, Her Majesty was ready.
Right.
That's right.
But the approval process on her wasn't really difficult. It was like, when are we going to take the pictures? That was what was really difficult there. Approvals, though, you know, you just never know. Like, I had a situation, and don't want to gossip or name names, but like where the two people hated each other, okay? And so they came to my studio to look at pictures, and like one approved ones, and the other one, you know, only would approve ones where the other one looked bad, you know. So
oh, that's
it was
difficult.
like, and that was like, and you're kind of in the middle of it, and it's like that was in the days of slides. Now they can do it in the privacy of their own home with like Dropbox and things like that. But
I mean, I have one sort of photo story that was an impressionable thing that taught me about also dealing with actors, and so much of it is psychology and presenting at the right time. You know, you don't rush into a dressing room with a bunch of pictures after a bad performance that's gone badly and say, please look at these now, because they'll say, I don't approve any of them. You know? So I was working with Rex Harrison on Aren't We All? Very long time ago. Claudette Colbert, Jeremy Brett, George Rose, and most importantly, Lynn Redgrave. So we knew he was a real stickler about pictures. So Martha Swope, the great photographer, had done these beautiful prints, and she'd had to retouch them because we thought we can't show them as he is. So they'd been retouched already. And so in those days, you literally scratched on a print and painted, and you had to, you know, it was really labor intensive. So these beautiful prints were there. So I had to take them over to be presented to him while he was having his makeup done or something. And he said, I hate these, I look like an a**hole. and Lynn Redgrave just happened to be in earshot. And she Lynn Redgrave, I mean, I adored her. But she looked at me and she said, she made eye contact with me, and then she went over to Rex Harrison and said, Rex, let's look at those. I said, oh my God, you look sexy. Oh, Rex, these are fantastic. I suppose so, okay.
Sexy.
That's right. And so then we walked out with some approved pictures.
Fantastic.
You know,
it's just great.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, with that show, okay, is he has a fabulous collection of pictures. They couldn't ask him to take pictures again. So they would take pictures of the replacement cast and
because it toured all over the country. And
Photoshop them in. Okay, so
it wasn't Photoshop, it was cut and paste.
It was cut and paste.
Cutting heads out and sticking
so
it on.
Occasionally, and they'd put it on the women, they put a set of pearls to cover the line. But like after about 5 cast changes, the heads like were just a little the wrong size. You know, see the last picture, we have a copy of it, was just like hilarious. It's like everything
Heads are
is
sticking
like
out at funny angles.
Angles, and it was just like a little wrong. It was like
Jody, technology has changed. You have now sets with projections. Does that make your job easier or harder?
it's really hard.
It makes it harder.
It makes it harder. I mean, the digital backgrounds can make it really hard, and a lot of it depends on the screen they use, whether the screen's filtered or not filtered, but it can be.
That was an issue
a
with Rose
nightmare.
Tattoo.
Like Rose Tattoo has this fabulously beautiful set that has, it's a total digital wall, and it's a beautiful digital wall, but it wasn't filtered, and the way the cameras read it, Star Wars, you know, like every picture can be terrible or can be good, and what's the background. So, and what's hard about that is that not every picture you take is good. So you had to have a good picture with a good background in order to use it, or you had to do major Photoshop.
And have you
get
had a
rid of it.
major evolution in how to photograph dance in terms of where you started to where you are now? Was learning how to capture that moment in dance difficult?
That was a learning curve.
It was a real learning.
That was a learning curve for me. And there are people, truthfully, who probably do it better than I do. But yeah, that was a learning curve. And it was about learning about music and, you know, and the beat and, you know.
So one thing on the dance there is with Photoshop, if there is one
you can fix
chorus person with the leg out,
Yeah.
you can fix it.
You can fix it.
And that was never always a problem.
Adrian, social media, of course, and the 24-hour news cycle is
Yep.
just rapidly changing, and you have to keep pace with it.
What's fantastic, but also a real challenge, is their news cycle is a news cycle. Mm-hmm. And you know, there have been moments in the past where you knew something bad was going to break as a story, say,
Yeah.
and you had a couple of hours to prepare people. Now you get the call from the producer saying what happened, because it's so fast. And I think with good news too, it means that we have to generate more.
To reinvent.
We have to find,
to reinvent.
we have to tell more stories, and we have to keep them out there, because the effectiveness and the stickiness of a story is only for, say, 24 hours. Whereas once upon a time, if you've got a nice big picture in Vanity Fair, say, that would really have an impact for a month or so.
But does that help the idea that it's so fast that even the bad news disappears in a couple of days?
Well, the bad news never disappears.
Yeah.
But it's diminished. So yes, there is the idea of piling on good news, kind of like what our president does, to mitigate and reduce.
And of course, everybody now is a social media expert in terms of the cast members.
Right.
Do you need to control that? Do you need to shape it?
Yes.
How do you do that?
I think we meet very early on, and we talk about what are the stories you want to tell. We teach courtesy, just simply, don't film people backstage unless you tell them you're doing it.
Excuse me, you're addressing the entire cast.
You're doing the entire company.
We
go to rehearsals and we talk this through. As a press person, social media is not my expertise, but now it is so intertwined that it's important that everyone connected with the show is now an envoy. Whereas before it used to be when you put them in front of the media, they became that envoy.
Right.
And so it's really important that everyone's on the same page. And even to the extent of you'll get an actor saying, oh, this guy wants to interview me. Is it okay? I just did the interview. And I said, you should check with us. Not because it may be bad, but maybe we're planning to do a big story on the whole company in a much bigger outlet, and this could mess it.
Right.
This could be a conflict with that. So it's explaining that we're not here to censor, but we're here to direct and let them know what the common message should be.
And has social media helped you in terms of your photographs? Do you use Instagram? Are you constantly feeding your material
I'm
into
not,
it?
and I probably should be more.
Yeah.
But where social media has impacted what I do, really, when I used to take pictures, theater pictures used to be the eyes into a production. And now with social media, there's everything, like every cast member, every stage manager, everybody is sending out pictures on social media. So in a way, it's kind of diminished the importance of production pictures.
But what it has do is it enhanced your roles as archivist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you're the
yes.
official story in many respects.
Yes,
Yep.
but just in terms of press and what's out there, there's so much more out there now. There's like behind the scenes, there's the actors' pictures, there's, everybody's pictures. All the people who go to the theater and take pictures of the set, it's out there. So there's an awareness, which is great, I guess, for theater, that it's out there way more than it ever was before.
What are you most emotionally invested in terms of your role as a photographer? Do you find that each show demands a certain emotional investment on your part? And does that sometimes get the better of you? You were talking earlier, Adrian, about getting your producer's feet on the ground as opposed to in the dream state.
Right. Well, no, and I'm not saying the dream state is wrong.
Right.
Because you have to be crazy to do this, and you have to have big dreams. So I understand that. What you want is the sincerity of most of what we do to really get out there. And I think there's a very easy and glib way that a lot of the media will just dismiss something and say it's just corporate money, or it's just this and this, and really neglect to sort of deal with the fact you're dealing with some of the most consummate artists anywhere. I mean, these are people who are extraordinary. I mean, there's no bad designers. I mean, the designers to me are so genius. I just don't know how they do it, and they're incredible. 99% of actors are extraordinary. To have that strength of will and commitment, and so to me, it's I don't want them to be disappointed. And I try not to take responsibility when something doesn't go wrong.
Right.
But I really feel for them. I want them to be. And so I try not to personalize it, but that's what gets me.
Joni, in the time that we have left, have you and Adrian established rules at home that you don't bring work back into the house, the home?
I mean, you have to bring some. And he's very good about not bringing a lot of it into the home. And my work is very pleasant, truthfully. I mean, most often it's,
Unlike
As
mine.
opposed to
mine is, it's short term. I'm hired because they want me to be there. People who don't want to hire me don't hire me. So it's generally a pretty pleasant experience. And then it's over. And then I have something that I can say, whether anybody else likes it or not. I can look at the work that I've done and say, I did a good job, I did a bad job. I have something there, you know. And that's like really, really rewarding, unlike I think somebody like Adrian, where, it's very ethereal.
how do you calm him down?
We cook. I mean, we
cook, we walk the dog.
We walk the dog. I mean, we have all these projects kind of going on, so it's like our home is kind of a happy place, so it's like, I think he just wants to come home, or you just kind of come home, It's like, but it is.
Hey, Adrian,
It's cheery. It's a cheery place.
when you're pulling out your hair, do you just look at Buttercup, your bulldog?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Your French bulldog,
Yeah.
and say, Buttercup doesn't care what this producer is doing.
No, does not care at all, and let's go for a walk.
Let's go for a walk.
Well, great. Well, it sounds like you got it all under control after what, since 1991
Yeah.
to the present day, and this has been a delightful conversation.
Patrick,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next month with another look at the expert and singular creatives who live and work only to astonish us. I'm Patrick Pacheco.